this is an incredible guest. He's been all over the place, all over the world, and I just found out, yes, even Adelaide, folks, where Lucy comes from, Australia. He even visited there. So I'm going to introduce you to him. He is a speaker and an author. Very excited. He has a book coming out very shortly. His name is Michael Russer. How do you do, Michael? Thank you so much for coming.
Lucy, I'm so pleased to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. So as we say, you're an author and you're a speaker and you're an international star. But you're with US Bands Cooperative, right? Because you live in America.
That's true.
Right.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. I see that we have your book on the table.
Well, that's the book cover, and soon the book will be coming out in 2014.
Wonderful.
And the book's all about my experience. Well, let me just give you a little backstory.
So it's a biography?
No, it's going to be close to a memoir.
Okay.
And also sharing some of the transformation and experiences that I've experienced personally.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so it's...
Well, before we get to
yes,
that, because
okay.
I know once I get you started...
yeah, it's going to be a hard time to stop.
He's a speaker, folks, so he's going to go on, and that's wonderful, because Lucy Looker loves it when my guests actually talk and talk and talk, because it's wonderful to hear. And I'm very excited. First of all, let's hear a little bit about you. You're born in America?
I am a red-blooded American.
Where are you from?
Originally, believe it or not, I'm from Rochester, New York, and I've got quite a story to tell on that too.
Okay.
A very brief one. On June 19th, 1970, at 6:45 in the morning, one day before my high school graduation, I hopped on my motorcycle and saluted my dad and said, "Send me out my diploma because I'm going out west." And 4.5 days later, with a broken fifth gear going up Ventura Freeway, I turned into Santa Barbara, and I never looked back.
Oh my goodness, it sounds like me too. Everybody loves Santa Barbara, and the same thing.
Yes.
It's that I can't explain it. Nobody can until you have it yourself. It's the spiritual thing here, I think. You just love it, don't you?
Well, Lucy, you and I have traveled all over the world.
Right.
And I can tell you I've been to some incredible places, as I know you have, but there is no place like this.
No, there's no place like Santa Barbara.
No.
It's so true. So, okay, so you come to Santa Barbara, and what do you do when you get here? I mean, you're young at this point.
I was very young. I was very young, and well, I still am, Lucy. At least in my own, mind.
Young.
That's right.
We're all young. I just don't look in the mirror that much anymore because I look like my mum. I look in the mirror and I see my mum, and I'm like, oh my goodness, where are you, mum?
Yeah,
what happened to me?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly. You become like your parents. So, yeah, so you were
well, I just
18, 19?
18. I was 18, and then I started working for a local company here, loading trucks, and then I bought a new motorcycle and kind of drifted around a little bit. And then I ended up learning how to weld and went overseas for 18 months.
Wow.
And then came back over and then went to college for a little while. And then I went into the various areas of real estate. So I started my entrepreneurial career. I've been a self-employed businessman for, since mid-1970s.
Since you came in here.
Yeah, since I got here.
Santa Barbara,
exactly,
probably, right?
yes. And then my speaking career started almost 20 years ago.
I see. So before that, so you probably like me, I've got a couple of kids, so did you have children?
Oh yeah, we have two children. My oldest daughter is Jacqueline, and she's living in Philadelphia right now. She's going for her master's degree.
Oh, wonderful.
And then my son is at UC Davis, and he just came back from 6 months in Germany for study abroad. So
UC, I remember Davis. Davis is a really cool town.
It is a very cool town.
When I was traveling back in 1978, when I hit this town, I came up through Las Vegas. I went right across America, came up through Las Vegas. I had friends there that I'd met in England who were working with the military.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that's a great town.
It is a great town.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, he loves
Davis,
it.
does he like it?
Oh, he loves it. He
Oh
absolutely
my
loves
gosh,
it. Yeah.
It's a fun town. It's a beautiful town, actually.
Yes, it is.
Beautiful lake.
Beautiful lake, and really an incredible university. It is a world-renowned university. So, yeah, we're very happy.
So you're excited. So,
very excited.
Okay, now spring it forward, or spring it back, whatever we call that. Tell me all about this speaking, because you're a speaker, and as you say, your book comes out. Is this your first book?
No, I've written other books.
Okay.
However,
Tell us all about it.
well,
then.
no, you're not going to want to hear too much about the other books. They were very industry specific. I was actually known as Mr. Internet, believe it or not, for about 20 years. And I spoke primarily to the residential real estate industry all over the world about that. But that was speaking from here. I mean, it was all in my head, and I loved what I did, but it didn't really speak to my heart in my speaking, and I wanted to do that. So about 2 years ago, I was actually, I was very successful.
So you were speaking about real estate as you were traveling
about
the world?
the internet for the real estate.
About the internet.
For the real estate industry.
So websites and everything, how to set up your website so that you could sell your real estate?
Well, let's put it this way. The real estate industry is about the only industry I know that the concept of specialization is a major light bulb going off. And so I would teach them how to specialize, especially online, and I was the only one talking about that. So it made me quite a bit in demand. So
that's nice. So then what made you go from doing real estate into doing basically a memoirs about your life in your newest book?
Well, that's because of everything that happened in the last 2 years.
Okay, well, let's hear about the last 2 years.
Well, the first, let's say 59, 60 years of my life, I was very successful, but also pretty shut down right here. I would have this kind of conversation, and I was very gregarious, and it was all genuine, but there was a wall there, and that is the wall I put up. And so,
why did you do that? Do you
well,
think?
people put up walls to protect themselves.
So was there something traumatic in your childhood?
Well, yeah, let's just say, yeah. I mean, like most people, there are things that happen that you protect yourself, and we often bring it into adulthood.
Right.
And I've learned to adapt to it, but it was killing my marriage, and it did. It killed it. And I made a choice. I said, that's it. Never again will I go through life with my heart shut down.
Wow.
Period. End of story.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
No. I would actually prefer to be dead if if I had to go back that way. And so I sold my business.
Wow.
And then and I ended the marriage. And that was no surprise to my wife, because we knew that like so many couples, you go through, you're married for 24 years, and part of it is your roommates more than soulmates, right? And so we knew it was going to end. I was waiting for my son to go to college for it to end. And ironically, 2 months after I ended the marriage, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And in my family, cancer means death. 4 out of 5 members of my family died badly of cancer, and the 5th one's not doing so well. So I'm the 6th.
Wow.
And that's out of 10. So
is that like a gene?
It's probably genetically. There's definitely.
I'm a person who believes in metaphysical healing.
You didn't let me finish on that. So
I
I was just going to say there's probably an energetic there too.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm just wondering, because I believe in Louise Hay like crazy, and I really like.
There's no question. Well, given the upbringing and the conditions of the family, some of the insanity that we had, I'm not surprised. And so. Anyway, so I was diagnosed with prostate cancer 2 months after the end of the marriage, and the surgeon said, well, they did the biopsy because they were watching my PSA and all that, and they said, well, the biopsy's showing a low grade. You have 6 months to not to live, but to
put everything in order?
No.
Okay.
It's low grade. It's low grade.
Okay.
You have 6 months to decide what course of treatment you want to do.
Oh, right.
And I said, that was November of 2011. And I said, I already know. I said, take it out now.
Really?
Yeah. And so he said, all right. So they scheduled it. And they actually had to move things around to get me in that year. So December 29th, 2011, I had a radical prostatectomy. And after they examined the tissue, they found out that it was indeed extremely vigorous and aggressive, and if I had waited 6 months, I may not be here sitting with you.
Wow, that's not amazing. So mystical.
Yeah, and well, they didn't get it all because my PSA started going up again.
Really?
Then I had to go through about 7 weeks of very intense radiation.
That's not good.
Still didn't get it all, but it's under control now. But the point is after going through all that, now after a good part of the marriage where things weren't happening, I am now rendered completely and clinically impotent, and the drugs don't work.
So did your impotency come because impotence means that you don't ever feel sexually inclined?
No. That's loss of libido.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
Impotence
I'm very
means
confused. Look,
yeah.
Lucy doesn't understand this.
Okay.
I'm gonna get to the bottom.
All right.
Oops.
So libido means you're frisky. Libido means you're frisky. I wish I had my cards here for this. Libido means you're frisky. Impotence means you cannot perform. The male cannot perform in the normal way because he's unable to get an erection.
So even if he's all the children, you have to go to bed right now.
Yes.
No, adult time.
Yeah.
But anyway, no. So what you're saying is, if a person had a libido, right? A libido means you really would.
You have the desire.
You would have you like the desire, and you would like to
have sex,
make love.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
But because you're impotent, because of you having prostate cancer,
right,
it took away
the ability to
the ability to
get an erection. Yeah.
Right, got it. Okay,
yeah.
so
can we say erection on the TV?
I guess,
I think so.
I think
okay.
So.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, well, they had a birth on television, and apparently a lot of people did complain about it. No, well, not the people, viewers, but some kind of weird thing happened. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll erase all that.
Well, I won't demonstrate, but that's okay.
Yeah, Lucy Luca would be really in trouble.
I'll show you what I mean here. No.
No, but okay. So so this brought about your book?
Well, no. This brought out, with prostate cancer, there's two forms of loss. First of all, you have to go through, as we were speaking before the interview, there's the 4 stages of loss. You have denial, you have anger, depression, and then acceptance, right? And so first, it's with the cancer. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. And then you go through all those regular stages, and I got to the point of acceptance because I'm a fairly positive person by nature. But then I had to deal with the 4 stages of loss due to impotence, and so then it's like, oh, you've got to be kidding me! I mean, this after all these years, and now I can't get it up. Come on, this isn't fair. And so I finally, eventually, got to the point of acceptance. Now that's the backstory, but that's only the backstory for what this book is about, because shortly after that, about a year ago, I met my beautiful, wonderful partner, and we started out just being friends and hiking buddies and all that. But it became clear that it's going to be something more than that, most likely. And she was the first woman other than my ex-wife that I've been with in 30 years. And I'm thinking, okay, oh my God, how's this going to go down, right? And so when we had this discussion, I still remember us sitting on the couch last fall, looking into each other's eyes, and I said, sweetie, this ain't happening. Would you be willing to explore other ways of being intimate with me? I don't know what that looks like, but would you be willing to do that? And of course, she said, yes. Now I say of course, that's because that's who she is. I suspect there would be women out there who would say, oh, look at the time, I gotta go, and or I'm out of here, right? And don't call me ever. And oh my God, so embarrassing, that kind of thing. None of that. So we went into that exploration, and what came out of that is so extraordinary that most normally functioning couples cannot even begin to fathom the level of emotional, physical, and spiritual intimacy that we enjoy and continue to grow every day. And I'm not sure how much detail you want on that, but it's extraordinary.
Basically, so what you're saying is, even though you're impotent,
yes,
it has absolutely nothing what to do with enjoying the person that you love.
Actually, that's not entirely true. Actually, and I make a point of this, it was because of the ED, the erectile dysfunction, that I had to, it's like I had to lose my manhood to finally discover what it meant to be a real man to my woman.
Wow.
And so this was such an astounding
So
realization.
wouldn't a lot of men think that wasn't cool, a real man? I mean, isn't that like, in a way, that you're saying that a lot of, I'm sorry, but
It's all
I'm
right.
going to challenge you on
Yes,
this because
go
that's
ahead.
what Lucy does.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of men out there that might be watching this and listening to you, and
Saying,
they
what
might
the?
be saying, "What the hell? What is he talking about? A real man?"
Yeah.
You know, it's like.
Well, let
and
me.
so, you know, that really bothers
Yeah.
bothers our male species because
Yeah.
you're challenging them by saying, "Hey, you know what? Don't worry if you're impotent because you can be a real man now."
Yeah.
Right? In a
Well,
way, you're saying
in
that,
a
right?
way, yeah. But I say it with all due respect to the men out there. But it took. See, I've come from both places. I know what it was like when everything was working properly, and when everything was working properly, I did fine. But my experience of and level of intimacy then versus what we experience now, it doesn't even compare. I mean, that doesn't even do it justice to say it doesn't compare. That's how astoundingly different it is, and beyond anything we've ever experienced, and that includes her experience too. And so, let me just answer your question about that, about what men might be thinking about this, and let me address that for them, because I think this is a really important point, because my job here is, and my mission is not to upset men, it's to open up a gateway and open up a possibility that they may not have considered. Men are hardwired, as women are, for procreation. That's
Right.
it's one of the main driving factors in feeling sexual desire. But we don't, and intercourse is perfect for that. And the way men are built is that when they get hard, they want to use it now. Now, women are very different, and not just physically, but emotionally and sensually. Women, by the time the man issues his last grunt and rolls over and falls asleep, she's just getting warmed up. In fact, and you'll appreciate this, there was a research study done in Britain from a British university that discovered that over 87% of women vocalize, i.e. moan during sex, one, to make the man feel better, two, to speed him up. So what does that say about intimacy between men and women? There's a real disconnect there because of the biological imperative in the way men are built and the way women are built. So when it comes to developing the kind of intimacy that men and women really crave, which goes beyond just the physical, we're talking deep emotional, physical, and spiritual connection. Intercourse is not necessarily the best solution. It's great for making babies, but it's not necessarily the best solution. And I didn't know this. And if somebody had told me this a year ago, saying that this is what's possible, and oh, by the way, you're going to go through this, I would have thought they were totally insane. And so, and it's about that journey and these discoveries and what we learned, and the things that I would have learned, I couldn't have learned if I had been functioning normally. And so the whole purpose of the book is to share those discoveries, and with the hopes that men and women who crave something more than just getting off, that deep, deep connection that starts with the heart, starts with the foundation of emotional intimacy, and then builds from there, that this will be of huge benefit to them. And so when I say I had to lose my manhood to discover what it really meant to be, discover what it means to be a real man to my woman, it means that I finally was able to slow down, because the biological imperative, that urge that comes with a man when he's erect, which is almost uncontrollable. I know, because I used to be that way. I didn't have that. So it gave me the possibility of just slowing down. So our typical lovemaking sessions now are 2 to 4 hours. And my partner, and I'll say this on TV, my partner climaxes a minimum 5 times.
I don't know if that's going on my show.
We'll just throw some more in here. Just you decide what you want to do with it. She's post-menopausal. You're comfortable with all this, right? Yeah, okay. She's postmenopausal, and
I think this is another show.
yeah, and
Interesting.
yeah, but
That you're an
she's
author.
postmenopausal, and prior to this experience, she like a lot of
Wasn't
women
interested?
no, she was interested, but had to use artificial lubrication and the whole
Yeah,
thing.
right, because your
Now
prostate's all mixed up.
now it's like she wants it, and she almost needs to talk to her doctor and says, "How is this possible that I'm lubricating like this?" And what the irony is, we don't need it now because it's not possible for me. And so it's the experience we're having is extraordinary. And
So who taught you? You just taught yourselves?
yeah, we pretty much taught ourselves. And what we did is, the main thing was that we slowed down. Now, I can tell you a very funny story about what happened on our first intimate weekend. I mean, we're talking the hot spring spa, away from town, and we had the great suite. It had its own hot springs tub in there, and I mean, this was just set up beautifully, right? I mean, we were excited, and this is going to be our first intimate weekend. So I'm like going, okay, I'm going to bring all the artillery, right? So I bring the highest dose of Cialis you can bring, which is okay. I bring the highest dose of something called Muse, which if the Cialis didn't work, this is supposed to work, and that's a urethral suppository, and I'll leave it to the viewers' imaginations is just what you have to do with that. It's not pleasant, but it's very powerful. And that was the highest dose. And then, just in case everything else failed, I brought the vacuum pump, right? And the vacuum pump is to help, right, make the blood flow. Well, we're kind of getting ready. And there she is, sitting on the bed, looking gorgeous. The Cialis isn't working at all. Okay, so just a little bit of perspiration starting to form right here, right? And I'm thinking, okay, sweetie, don't worry. I got this thing called Muse, right? And it's worked every other time. And well, when I say that, you're probably wondering with whom. Nobody, because when you're after prostate surgery, you're supposed to keep things moving, so to speak. So, that's why they give it to us. And so I try that. We're waiting the 20 minutes, and we're just nothing. Oh, come on. Okay, no worries. I got the pump. This thing always works, right? So I'm going like, it's a handheld vacuum pump. I'm going like this. And then all of a sudden, oh, I sucked in my left testicle. Oh, God, that was painful. And I'm thinking, no, this time the sweat is pouring off of my head. And I'm thinking, there goes this weekend. And she's looking at me like, poor guy. So I said, look, can we just forget all this stuff? Let's just lay down together and see what happens. And being who she is, she said, of course. So we did. And what came out of that, again, was so extraordinary. Neither one of us expected what was going to happen, but we literally made love that whole weekend. And without me, able to get hard once. And that was the beginning of this journey. And it's only continued since then. So, my message is that what women want and what men have, there's a mismatch there. And I only discovered it, well, actually we discovered it when I was able to slow down. And so in a sense, the ED was a gift for me, and in a very real sense. And so I based on that gift and what I learned from it, I want to share that with couples that are interested in having something more than just, okay, let's do it tonight kind of thing. They want to have a deep, deep, deep connection. And for that to happen, men's behavior needs to change just a little bit, just a little bit. And women need to help them with that, because sometimes women are not vocal about saying what they really want and need. Mm-hmm. And when you get those two matched together, like it is with my partner and I, what happens and what comes out of that is so incredible, so extraordinary, that it really defies being able to explain it in a way that people really understand. And I've had top, literally world-renowned urologists literally say, there's no way you can have that kind of experience if you're not able to get hard. There's no way. Well then, you know.
So in other words, it's almost like you're having a divine experience.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. And yeah, the physical side of it is extraordinary, but it has to start with a firm foundation, a very, very solid foundation of emotional intimacy. And that's the care and respect that you have for each other. That is so important. You know, just extraordinary sex will not last if you don't have that, right? And if you do have it, and you take the time, both partners take the time to really start meshing and matching their sexual response profiles, especially the man to the woman, right? Then what's available in terms of the experience goes far beyond anything they would have had if they hadn't done that. And in the process of doing that, it also opens up, I believe, in fact, I know for a fact, a doorway into a realm of spiritual intimacy that I think ultimately couples crave. They want that kind of deep, deep heart connection. And that goes beyond emotional, that goes beyond physical. It's a connection of two human beings that come together in such a beautiful harmony that it brings tears, and to both of us. And that's what I want to share with people. And so I'm not making men wrong, and I sometimes come off that way, and I don't mean to. I'm saying, men, there's something here that if you just open yourself up to that possibility, you will have an experience, and your mate will have an experience beyond anything you can imagine.